educated youth boyfriend Evan Gu was relegated to rural assignment, and the first thing he did when he resumed his national college entrance exam was to break up with me. I asked him for the college admission guarantee letter that my mom and dad left behind, but he said that the letter had been lost a long time ago. Having lost everything, I could only toiling in the fields, planting for the rest of my life in misery and sadness. When I was getting old, Evan Gu, my educated youth boyfriend, suddenly came back to small town, and his wife was dressed in a cheongsam. Elegant and noble. I heard the old man next to me say, "Sophie, if it wasn't for that college admission guarantee letter from your parents, you wouldn't be living this good life today. Hurry up and go in front of your family burial ground to pay respects." That I froze in my tracks. I was the only person in small town whose parents were in the military and whose name was Sophie. The person standing beside Evan Gu is clearly small town branch secretary's youngest daughter Luna Liu. Cheng Sophie, I'm a high school student in the city, and you're not supposed to be in the same world. Before, I took more care of you because of our parents' friendship, but now, having resumed national college entrance exam, I can't possibly hitch my whole life in the small town for you. Evan Gu wrinkled his brow in death, his eyes full of impatience. I looked at him in a trance for a long time. Seeing that I was still pulling him, Evan Gu's heart was ruthless and directly pushed me away. How many times do you want me to say? Before it was because of your pity that I would make a marriage contract with you. Now that the national college entrance exam has been reinstated, can you stop relying on me? For so many years, my parents have also taken great care of you. You can't just lie on our Gu family like a bloodsucker, right? The surrounding voices were noisy, and I finally reacted. Looking at the still young and tender face, I bit my lower lip. It's okay to break off the engagement. Give me back the college admission guarantee letter. When these words came out, Evan Gu directly froze in place. 6 years ago, as a science double bully, parents were secretly taken away by the state. The organization gave a college admission guarantee letter. I could have taken the college admission guarantee letter, overpassed the national college entrance exam, directly become a college student. I could have taken the college admission guarantee letter, skipped the national college entrance exam, and become a college student. But Evan Gu said that it would be a waste for someone like me who didn't know how to study to go to college, so I might as well give him the opportunity. Uncle Gu also promised me that as long as I gave Evan Gu the college admission guarantee letter, he would only recognize me as his daughter-in-law for the rest of his life. Auntie Gu even put the family heirloom bracelet, which symbolizes the Gu family's daughter-in-law, on my hand. Because I love Evan Gu deeply, and even more so because they have taken care of me for many years. I didn't put up any defense and handed over the college admission guarantee letter directly. Before I resumed the national college entrance exam, I was a benefactor to the Gu family. They did treat me like their own family and gave me priority in all good things. But after the national college entrance exam was reinstated, Uncle Gu and Aunt Gu, who used to treat me with smiles, always looked at me and sighed. I understand that they can't see me as a countrywoman, and I understand that I'm not educated enough to be worthy of Evan Gu. But I've always felt that as long as I work hard enough, I'll be able to get their approval. In fact, even if I put my heart out in front of their eyes, it is still far less attractive than the real benefits. Seeing that Evan Gu did not respond, I repeated loudly, before the national college entrance exam was not yet resumed. You said that you wanted the college admission guarantee letter in my hand, and said that as long as I gave you the college admission guarantee letter, you would be able to get the recognition of the college admission guarantee letter. Admission guarantee letter to you. You would be willing to marry me, since you want to withdraw from the marriage now. Then you will give me back the college admission guarantee letter. The surrounding small town folk gradually gathered, and gazes of all colors fell on Evan Gu's body. I thought the Gu family didn't want to take care of Sophie's girl. But it turned out to be for the college admission guarantee letter that was the only thing left behind by her mom and dad. There's no such thing as a selfless person in this world. They're all self-serving motives. The Gu family is not as noble as people say. Listening to the people around me, I said, "You don't want to give it back to me, do you?" When I said this, the small-town people's eyes became even more contemptuous. He was bashful and shy. Naturally, I will return it to you, Evan. An urgent shout came. Lu was gasping for air and rushing impatiently. But it was already too late now. I hooked a light smile at her and turned my head to Evan Gu. "Since you promised to give it back to me, then you give it to me right now." Lu took a few steps forward and grabbed Evan Gu's hand, turning her head to look at me angrily. "Previously, you took college admission guarantee letter to force Evan to marry you. And Evan had no choice but to agree to you. But it's not a lie that their family has been taking care of you all these years. Now you want to take back the college admission guarantee letter. Are you thinking of eating for free?" Lu said eagerly, looking like she was giving Evan Gu a hard time. However, I know in my heart that Lu is clearly planning for herself. With Evan Gu's grades, it's easy to get into college. But Lu only likes to dress up and doesn't even flip through her books. The high school diploma she is so proud of is paid for by her father, who is a branch secretary of small town. When Evan Gu listened to Lu's words, her originally weak face also climbed up to the rightful. "At the beginning, it was a mutual benefit between you and me, and now you want to take back your college admission guarantee letter. Then take back your college admission guarantee letter. Letter back. Then take back what our family gave you before. Let's make a clean break. Let's settle everything that needs to be settled." Lu raised the corner of her lips in triumph and pretended to say, "There are still a lot of people who don't have enough to eat. The Gu family has supported you for 6 years, letting you have no worries about your food and clothing. So how are you going to pay it back?" These words were said in a very shameless manner, but they were also supported by many people. The Gu family has raised this girl for 6 years, and every year the food has to be eaten in hundreds of pounds. Now this girl wants to take back the college admission guarantee letter. How can she do it without some blood? I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. It's not easy for us small town farmers to grow food. If you ask me, this girl wants to marry the Gu family. That's why she's so stubborn. The small town people who thought they were in the right had all expressed their thoughts. And no one cared about my feelings at all. I clenched my hands into fists. Since when is our relationship mutually beneficial? Didn't my parents' annual stipend hit your family's account? This sentence was like a flat thunderbolt, directly blowing out the key that the crowd had forgotten. My mom and dad are contributing to the country, and now they get a double stipend every year despite lost contact. 6 years ago I was just a teenager. And the Gu family offered to raise me. So the state credits the Gu family's account with mom and dad's stipend every year. Mom and dad's stipend combined amounted to several hundred per year, in this era of monthly incomes of more than $10 per capita, not to mention supporting my mouth. Even the Gu family ate my mom and dad's stipend. I looked at Evan Gu and said, "Why does your mom get new clothes every month even though she doesn't work? How come your mom gets new clothes every month when she doesn't work? How come your dad can afford to smoke pipe tobacco when he only gets $15 of stipend a month from the factory? How come you get the money to buy books?" Evan Gu's eyes dodged and his lips mumbled several times, but he couldn't say a word in rebuttal. When Evan Gu forced me to do the math just now, the small town folk all helped out. Now, when I said mom and dad's stipend, the small town people around me were silent. There was not a single small town estate where I could stay. But I underestimated the extent of people's shamelessness, Lu actually said with great righteousness. "You were only a teenager at that time. Even if all the stipend was handed over to you, could you keep it? You're a half-grown kid grasping a large sum of money in your hands. If it wasn't for the Gu family covering you, would you still have a life to live?" I turned my head to Evan Gu. "Do you think so too?" He lowered his head and didn't say anything. Back then, when mom and dad first left, government compound sent someone to pick me up. And they said that I would be a child of the country from now on. I even packed my bags. And it was Evan Gu who chased after the car and fell through the mud to keep me. But he wouldn't admit it now. I was completely chilled, clenched my teeth and threw down a sentence. People are doing what God is watching. Stipends matter. I will not be involved with you. You immediately returned the college admission guarantee letter to me. Luna Liu's eyes flashed with eagerness, and she clutched Evan Gus' hand tightly. Evan, you can't just give it to her like this. I reddened my eyes and deliberately shed tears. In a military air. It's not even a problem that I've been swallowed for so many years of mom and dad's stipend. He's even going to withdraw from me now. Can't he even give me back the college admission guarantee letter that my mom and dad left me at the end of the day? Born again in one life. I have long understood that it is not useful to be strong, and the appropriate display of vulnerability will be exchanged for more benefits. Small town. Who has been standing at the back? Finally couldn't stand it anymore, and said with a cold face, "Didn't Sophie say? As long as you return the college admission guarantee letter to her, she doesn't care about stipend. What are you still hesitating for? The national college entrance exam has been reinstated. It's not like you can't get into college." Evan Gus' parents also rushed back from the street, roughly understood the situation and slammed Evan Gus' shoulder. "You bastard. I didn't tell you to return the college admission guarantee letter. It's not like you can't get into college." Everyone was asking Evan Gu to hand over the college admission guarantee letter. And Evan Gu looked at Luna Liu with a guilty look in his eyes, who was already in tears, looking aggrieved. I wasn't interested in watching them act like a couple, so I repeated with a cold face, "Give me back the college admission guarantee letter, or I'll take it to the authorities. Otherwise, I'll report it to the authorities. If things get out of hand, not only will stipend have to be recovered, Evan Gus' national college entrance exam qualification won't be saved either." I spoke harshly, without any room for maneuver. Gus' parents were anxious and said, "Of course we will return the college admission guarantee letter to you, but we have a deal. After the college admission guarantee letter is returned to you, you can't talk about the stipend or the marriage contract anymore." Evan Gu didn't dare to look at Luna Liu's eyes, lowered his head and said through gritted teeth, "I'll give it back to you now." Luna Liu's body lurched and almost fell to the ground. The two older women rushed to help her. "Xueqin girl, what's wrong with you?" she replied with a forced smile, a little lightheadedness. "Nothing." I laughed coldly in my heart. This is not lightheadedness. It's just that she's anxious about losing her chance to go to college. I followed Evan Gu firmly behind the small town folk. I stared at him as he pulled out the college admission guarantee letter that was wedged in his textbook. He was still clutching it firmly and wouldn't let go of it when he handed it to me. I yanked it over, glanced at the handwriting on it and stuffed it into my arms. Evan Gu gritted his teeth, his voice raspy. "The college admission guarantee letter is back to you. Are you satisfied?" Small town people see things are returned, also have dispersed. Gus' parents saw that I still do not go. Face immediately ugly. From now on, our two families cannot have half a relationship. I was thinking of leaving a line, and later Wyvern achieved success took you for a ride. But I didn't expect you to be so ungrateful. I sneered at them. Is it? In his previous life, Evan Gu did achieve success. But did he pay any attention to me? There are no outsiders. Luna Liu could not hold back any longer. Wow. Hid in Evan Gus' arms and cried. Evan Gu heartbroken, and kept patting her back to pacify. The two of them leaned together and whispered softly, a gesture of bitter lovebirds. Gus' parents didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. Instead they condescendingly said, "Win and you were barely together before. Now that you don't have anything to do with each other anymore, who he's with has nothing to do with you." Luna Liu threw a provocative glance at me, which I wasn't even interested in paying attention to. Turning my head, I packed up all the things I left behind at Gus' house and picked up my bag to go home. Returning to the dilapidated courtyard, After lighting the candle, I took out the college admission guarantee letter in my arms, and realized that the seal on it had actually been moved. I was so anxious that I opened the envelope of the college admission guarantee letter with a knife. The moment I saw what was inside, I almost fainted. The college admission guarantee letter inside has long been switched. The signature and content are the same, but Evan Gu and I have been together for so many years. I know his handwriting by heart. What's more, the handwriting on the inside of this letterhead was not yet dry before it was stuffed inside, so it was obviously a hasty forgery. The National College Entrance Exam was resumed only yesterday at noon. And he immediately made a forgery, and came to me early this morning to withdraw, and was really in a hurry. Although I wanted to make a scene again, Evan Gu returned the college admission guarantee letter to me in front of everyone. I didn't say anything at the time, but if I went back to him afterward, I would only be called unreasonable persistence, with endless hatred spreading. I took the night to go around the back of Evan Gu's house. Hiding at the foot of the wall, I heard Luna Liu's voice. She said, "Evan, you're so smart. If you hadn't made the preparations earlier, I'm afraid I'd have lost this opportunity." Evan Gu just withdrew his marriage with me, and then he dared to leave a woman at home for the night. This kind of behavior really makes me sick. I even feel that some true love in my past life has been fed to the dogs, Evan Gu sighed. If it is not because Cheng Susu had to make too much trouble, I would not be like this. Anyway, in the future I have no half-relationship with her. Luna Liu pouted in dissatisfaction. What do you mean by that? It's hard to believe that if she doesn't make this mess you still want to bring her along to college. You still remember her. You have her in your heart. Evan Gu immediately expressed his loyalty. Of course not. She illiterate. How can I take her to college? I mean if she doesn't make a mess. When we achieve success in the future, just give her minimal benefits. It's the same as getting rid of beggar. The word beggar directly doused all my good intentions. Half a month later, before the results of the National College Entrance Exam came out, the news of Evan Gu and Luna Liu's college entrance exams reached the small-town suburb. The two families announced their marriage and invited all the small-town people to the community feast. Luna Liu even came to my door and said, "Although you and Evan had a bad time, but at least you are a small-town person. We can't see each other's heads, so you will come to today's feast, right?" She was all smiles, and I could tell at a glance that she was very pleased with herself. I pretended to look at her differently. Can you get into college even with such poor grades? There were still people around. Luna Liu immediately glared at me in annoyance. The university I got into based on my strength is a blessing that you can't envy for the rest of your life. I looked her up and down, sneered and pulled the corner of my mouth, said nothing and walked away. Luna Liu was infuriated, stomped her foot and threw down harsh words. "Since you don't know how to be nice, I don't have the sense to talk to you. Anyway, in the future I'm going to start a new life together with Evan." I let out an "oh," pointing to the thick smoke rising in the distance. "Forget start a new life together for now. Why don't you go put out the fire first?" Luna Liu frowned and grunted. "Put out what fire? What does a fire have to do with me?" Just after saying these words, Evan Gu, who had been waiting for Luna Liu at the side, rushed over. "It's my room that's on fire. Hurry up and put out the fire." Luna Liu almost fainted on the spot. Evan Gu anxiously ran to put out the fire. But the fire had already spread and burned all the letters in his room. The yard in front of Evan Gu's house was not big enough, and the banquet of the two families was set up in front of Luna Liu's house, which led to the fact that when Evan Gu's house was on fire, no one noticed it. And only when the fire got big was it discovered. Evan Gu's face was so white as if his soul had been burned to ashes. Luna Liu looked at Evan Gu incredulously and said, "It's my room. It's a fire." Liu looked at Evan Gu incredulously. "Evan, is there no more?" Evan Gu's lips were pursed into a straight line, and he couldn't say anything. Luna Liu was so panicked that she burst into tears, and even wanted to go in and look for it herself. The small town folk who rushed over hurriedly pulled her back. "Silly girl, even if you're engaged to the Gu family's kid. There's no need to throw away your life to put out a fire. The Gu family's parents also rushed over, shivering and barely standing still. Their house was the only building in all of small town, which was a mighty thing in the 70s. Now, after a fire, there is nothing left. I coldly watched the scene in front of me. My heart was very happy. Before I came to the Gu family, they were known as a poor family in small town, relying on my parents' stipend to be able to build a house and live a good life. Now, I just took everything back. The fire burned very fast and nothing was left. The faces of both families were very ugly. The people just thought that they were a family and were sad about the house, and they uttered words of exhortation. It's no big deal. The house can be rebuilt if it's gone. Both of your families except for the fact that you have produced a college student. Will you still worry about not being able to afford to build a house in the future? Yes. Our small-town college students are like the golden phoenix in the mountain nest. It's a rare thing that can fly to the sky. When you finish college, you can buy a big house by earning money casually. As long as people are fine, you two still have to report to the university next month. Don't be too sad. Evan Gu listened. His face gradually improved. But Luna Lu was not so good. Panicked and clutched Evan Gu. Evan, what can we do? Evan Gu gave me a deep look and turned his head to Luna Lu and promised. It's okay. We can definitely go to college together next month. In the corner where no one cared, I picked up the magnifying glass on the floor and stuffed it into my pocket. Evan Gu's room was full of books and newspapers, and the window was facing south. ID checked the weather forecast at small town 2 days earlier, and today was one of those rare days when the sun shone brightly. When noon arrives, the light reflecting off the magnifying glass through the windows will light up Evan Gu's room. It's a dry day, and the stuff in Evan Gu's room is the best fuel for the fire. Although I was not a good student, I followed my parents' footsteps, but I was always good at figuring out these things since I was a kid. The college admission guarantee letter. Even if I burn it, I will not give it to Evan Gu. Let alone let him take it and offer it to the Buddha. I'd like to see how they'll start a new life together next month without the college admission guarantee letter. At night, I grabbed the fountain pen left behind by my mom and dad and wrote down my thoughts about them. I grabbed the pen left behind by my parents and wrote my thoughts about them. But then there was a knock on the door. Just as I reached the door, I heard a familiar voice. Sophie, it's me. Evan Gu didn't hear my reply and lowered his voice again. It's Win. Sophie, can you open the door for me? I was silent and didn't say anything. Evan Gu sighed and said, I know you're listening. I wanted to talk to you about the college admission guarantee letter. I jerked the door open. We've been even for a long time. Not to mention, didn't the college admission guarantee letter burn a long time ago? Evan Gu's eyes dodged. Since you know all about it, I won't hide it from you. Evan Gu took out an envelope from his pocket. Inside was a thick pile of money. There's $3,500 in here. It's all the money Liu Xueqin and I could come up with at home. You can't afford to go to college anyway, and the college admission guarantee letter would be a waste to give you. Can you see if you can write another letter to the top, saying that you accidentally lost the college admission guarantee letter, so that they can give you a replacement? This kind of brazen words, belonging to make me angry. Laugh Evan Gu, but think I see the money to laugh. He immediately added, you couldn't save this much money even if you farmed in small town for the rest of your life. Now as long as you promise to find a way to get us a replacement, they'll give you this money right away. Your parents' stipend is only about $2,000 full, but hey, race $3,500. I took the money and before I could say anything, Luna Lu suddenly sprang out. She had a smug look on her face. Evan, I told you. As long as the money is given, Sophie Cheng will definitely do anything. Evan Gu touched her head. Didn't I say I would take care of it? Why did you follow? Luna Lu provocatively hooked her lips. I'm not afraid that some people will take the opportunity to pester you. You're the only college student in small town. If I don't keep an eye on you, what if you're snatched by someone? Evan Gu spoiled a smile. Really can't do anything about you. I sneered at Evan Gu. $3,500 for a college degree. Don't you guys know that there are wealthy entrepreneurs out there who want to pay for college admission guarantee letters? Luna Liu immediately rebuked angrily. You don't know what's good for you. $35,000 is enough to buy your life. I didn't say a word. And continued to look at Evan Gu. If you want the college admission guarantee letter, at least get another $5,000. Evan Gu's eyes widened. Are you crazy? Where can I get you $5,000? I laughed. If you can't get it, then we're done talking. As I said that, I was about to slam the door behind me. Evan Gu raised his hand to stop me, and promised through gritted teeth. Yes, you can. But I don't have so much money now. You get us the college admission guarantee letter first, and I'll pay you every month on time after I start working. Luna Liu pouted reluctantly. She just sees that you can't get so much money now. So she wants to use this as a way to get in touch with you on purpose. Evan Gu looked at me with a deep gaze. I will give the money until it is paid off. Other than that, we have no relationship. Luna Liu, then satisfied, twisted her head and glared at me. Evan has already promised. When will you give me the college admission guarantee letter? Evan Gu gave me a disgusted look, and turned to look at Luna Liu tenderly. If it was in my previous life, I was afraid that I would be hurt by this look of his. But now, I didn't react at all, and even felt that he was very disgusting. I coldly said, "You will receive it next week." After saying this, I slammed the door with a bang. During this week, Evan Gu and Luna Liu were unusually honest and even avoided me somewhat. It wasn't until the letter carrier brought a letter from town that Luna Liu returned to her old self, flamboyantly skulking around small town in her newly made clothes. I was squatting by the stream, washing clothes. Luna Liu suddenly let out a sigh. Cheng Susu, the silk cloth in your pocket isn't the one we have in our wallet. Is it possible that you stole the $3,500 that our family lost yesterday? I looked up at Luna Liu without any joy or sadness. Several small town residents around me stopped, and Luna Liu anxiously stepped forward and grabbed me. The piece of cloth in Sophie Cheng's pocket is the one my parents used to wrap the money in. Last night my dog kept barking, and when I got up in the morning the money in the house was gone. That's $3,500. My parents' life savings. I looked at Luna Liu coldly. I didn't steal it. Luna Liu angrily rebuked. Being a human being is based on your conscience. If you say you didn't steal it, dare you let us search your house? A small town resident asked curiously. Sophie, what's this piece of cloth in your pocket? I looked at them expressionlessly. I wiped my nose. This kind of fabric is not a rare thing. Can't I have it? Evan Gu brought small town chief over here and angrily pointed at me. Small town chief. I just can't stand it anymore. Since the last time I broke off the engagement and returned the college admission guarantee letter to Cheng Susu, she still keeps pestering me, and when I don't agree, she waits for an opportunity to retaliate. Last time my house was burned down, it was her who messed up with magnifying glass. This time, when Xueqin's house was stolen, it was also her who went to get the money in the middle of the night yesterday. My eyes fell on Evan Gu's body like a shuttle. Do you have any evidence? Evan Gu snorted. You won't cry until you see the coffin. He took out a burnt magnifying glass. I found this at Sophie Cheng's house. This is the proof. Yesterday, when I passed by Xueqin's house, I happened to see Cheng Susu's sneaky figure. I didn't think that much at the time. I didn't realize that she actually had the intention of being a thief. I raised my eyes to meet Evan Gu's line of sight. Nonsense is punishable by heavenly thunder. My sorrowful voice fell into everyone's ears just as the sunlight was covered by dark clouds. A timid aunt whispered, Sophie's mom and dad have both contributed to the country. Would it be bad for us to insist on searching her house? Luna Liu snorted coldly. Can you rely on your mom and dad's merits to do whatever you want for the rest of your life? What's more, her parents have long been in lost contact. Probably hiding somewhere. Anyway, no matter what, being a thief has to pay the price. You're not the ones who lost the money. Of course you're not in a hurry. Saying that, Lu immediately had someone go outside small town to find the police. They had their minds set on sending me to jail. But in this era of anti-crime campaign, $3,500 is enough for a death sentence. In that case, there's no reason for me to hesitate. Someone wanted to say something else, but Lu immediately said, "Are you going to be a guarantor for her, in case she steals it? You're going to go to jail with her." That person immediately stopped talking. Although I knew how it would end, I still couldn't help but feel sad. Is this the person Mom and Dad would rather abandon me than protect? The police came in a car. Evan Gu immediately stepped forward. "We suspect that she stole $3,500 from Comrade Luna Liu's house. Now that the evidence is available, please go to her house with us to search the accounts. Comrade Police." Evan Gu stepped forward and pulled out the so-called evidence with one hand. The policeman looked at this small piece of silk cloth and frowned at me. "You still have something to say." I didn't look away. "I have nothing to say. But I really didn't steal it." Lu thought I was in persistent denial and broke right into my house with her men. But she rummaged through the whole house and didn't find a penny. She muttered, "Impossible. How could there be no?" The police were also unsure. "Didn't you say you found evidence?" In this era, the means of judging the case is not so scientific. Silk cloth, and Evan Gu's testimony, plus the fact that I have not been able to leave the house for the past few days. Everyone thought they could find stolen cash in my house, and Evan Gu froze in his tracks. "Are you sure you don't have it?" Evan Gu froze in his tracks. "Are you sure there is no stolen cash?" He was so desperate that he started digging for it, and Lu followed suit, making a mess of the whole house. $3,500 is a big amount of money. All small-town people gathered. The police didn't even search it out, but they are still not relenting. The crowd's eyes began to change a little. Seeing this, I immediately bawled, "No justice. It's bullying my mom and dad for not being around. Bullying me for being an orphan girl. It's even if you swallowed my parents' stipend." The marriage that was originally promised was also returned. This thin-skinned man re-engaged in less than half a month. And today he somehow slandered me for stealing money. My family has a strict culture and has never engaged in petty theft. They are simply insulting. Saying this, I was about to slam my head against the wall. "Quickly stop her." A roar came and everyone jerked their heads to look. Bright stars were clasped on his chest, and everyone knew that the visitor's identity was extraordinary. Evan Gu directly froze in place. "Mr. Zhou, why are you here?" Small-town folk were also shocked. This face has always only appeared on the news, something that ordinary people would never see in their lifetime. Instead, I jumped into his arms. "Uncle Zhou, you're finally here." Lu looked at me incredulously. "What are you shouting about?" Uncle Zhou snorted coldly. "What does shouting have to do with you? You're that opportunistic tactics little girl, right?" Lu blushed miserably and tried to defend herself, and Uncle Zhou pulled out the letter in his pocket as soon as he did. It was the letter I wrote that night. Uncle Zhou's face was cold. The college admission guarantee letter I gave to Cheng girl. She said that she would never be able to use it in her life. And I knew as soon as I guessed that she would definitely treat the college admission guarantee letter as a memento of her parents. And offer it up properly. How could she possibly lose something so important? What's more, when the Cheng family couple saved my life and the lives of millions of others, she was unwilling to raise Cheng maiden even when I wanted to do so on behalf of the country, and said that she wouldn't accept food handed out in contempt. Her character. How could she need to use the college admission guarantee letter? I was moved to tears on the spot. Regardless of the past life, I did not think of using this college admission guarantee letter. But what I never expected was that someone I hadn't met a few times would trust me so much. Evan Gu smiled stiffly and stepped forward. Mr. Zhou, you may have misunderstood something, but this college admission guarantee letter was voluntarily given to Luna Liu by Sophie Cheng. I laughed and immediately retorted, do you have proof? At the beginning, all the people in small town watched me ask you to return the college admission guarantee letter. I have no relationship with Luna Liu. Why should I give her the college admission guarantee letter? Luna Liu blurted out the 500, but Evan Gu stopped him, saying, we can't tell the difference between right and wrong. We can't help it if you don't admit it. He said this as if he had been wronged. I immediately wanted to open my mouth to sneer. Uncle Zhou, however, smiled and said, I understand a little bit about your farce just now. One piece at a time to solve it. Just now, you guys but said that Cheng Susu stole money and almost drove someone to death. Now what's the result? The police immediately said, Mr. Zhou, we didn't search the money, and the evidence they said was just a piece of silk cloth. Mr. Zhou took a look at the silk cloth and instantly laughed. This kind of silk cloth is one piece 8 a foot, and it's sold everywhere. How can it be considered evidence? How can it be considered evidence? I also took the opportunity to say, Evan Gu and Luna Liu 2 people every day together. To say that Luna Liu's home theft. I think Evan Gu is the most suspected. Evan Gu's face turned red. How could I possibly steal anything? In front of Mr. Zhou. Don't you talk nonsense. Mr. Zhou, however, nodded his head if he had actually done so. You guys just insisted on searching Maiden Cheng's home. Now it's your turn. Evan Gu clenched his fists. My house was just burned down. Not to mention money. Not even a few pieces of clothing. So search if you like. If I don't get it, Sophie Cheng must apologize to me and pay me back for the college admission guarantee letter spot. Mr. Zhou frowned and looked at Evan Gu, but Evan Gu was already a broken man and didn't care what others thought. He just wanted to get the college admission guarantee letter as soon as possible. But things wouldn't go his way. The police took out a book from Evan Gu's only remaining bag in front of all the small town residents. The book was hollowed out in the center and a thick wad of money was placed in it. Luna Liu and Evan Gu were dumbfounded and their mouths grew wide with disbelief. Luna Liu and Evan Gu were dumbfounded, and their mouths grew wide in disbelief. But the police had already detained Evan Gu. Mr. Zhou, with a cold face, personally counted the money. Make sure it's 500 yuan. Mr. Zhou put the money in Luna Liu's hand and turned to the police. Take him away according to the charge of theft. Evan Gu struggled. No way. How can this money be with me? It's not me. It's not me. Luna Liu flopped down on her knees. Mr. Zhou. He didn't steal the money. He's a prospective college student. He can't go to jail. He really didn't steal the money. Mr. Zhou looked at her kindly and asked, are you trying to harbor? Harboring is also a crime. Luna Liu shook her head in panic, not knowing how to explain. They lifted a stone and smashed their own feet, making a fool of themselves. The mailman delivering the letter suddenly turned back and shouted. That acceptance letter from before was sent to the wrong person. Evan Gu wasn't accepted. Evan Gu didn't get in. The one who got in was small town's Gu Huaien. Evan Gu's face turned white and lost all color. I was also stunned, but quickly figured it out. In his previous life, Evan Gu didn't need to worry about anything. He only needed to study and prepare for his exams. That's why he was able to get into college. This time, Evan Gu didn't have the chance to review at all. He has been burnt out by the college admission guarantee letter and the withdrawal, plus the fire at home. It is quite normal to fail the exam. I squatted down and looked at Luna Liu. Whether it's falsely accusing someone or harboring a criminal, you'll go to jail. Don't you have anything to say? Now Evan Gu is not a prospective college student. Nor is he a golden phoenix. What will Luna Liu choose? Tell me that the two of them are working together to put me in jail. Evan Gu will get his sentence reduced. But Luna Liu will also go in. If you don't say anything, Evan Gu will start at 10 years. Evan Gu stares at Luna Liu dead in the face. Xueqin, say something. Luna Liu grabbed the money in her hand. Her voice trembled. I don't know. I don't know anything. I only know that the family lost the money. Evan Gu's eyes widened in anger. What are you talking about? This money was clearly given to Cheng Susu by you. It was Cheng Susu who framed me. It must be Sophie Cheng. I looked at Uncle Zhou with an innocent face. I slept with little flower sister in small town last night. I really don't know what happened. Luna Liu's mom and dad also arrived and immediately chose to be clear. I never thought that this kid was actually a thieving bastard. Evan Gu's mom just happened to hear this and immediately fought. My son is not a thief's seed. What are you talking about? Let your daughter tell the truth. Evan Gu shouted that he was innocent. And Luna Liu kept saying that she didn't know anything. Mr. Zhou directly waved his hand. Take all the relevant people back for careful investigation. Those at fault must be punished. I watched with satisfaction as they were taken to the police car, and followed behind Mr. Zhou to leave the small town drop. Small town people's coldness I have seen through, and there is no point in staying here. I am determined to use what I knew in my past life to do something I like. Mr. Zhou respected all my choices, and said that there is any trouble that cannot be solved, let me go to him. But I just smiled. Being reborn for a second time, this was already a heavenly shortcut and convenience. How could I possibly still bother him? 3 months later, Little Flower told me that Evan Gu was sentenced to 7 years and Luna Liu to 2 years. Evan Gu was sentenced to 7 years, and Luna Liu was sentenced to 2 years. The two Gu couples embezzled my parents' stipend, which they couldn't afford to pay back, and were also sentenced to 1.5 years. Luna Liu was married to the next-door small-town's butcher in exchange for her brother's dowry when she was released from prison. Professor Gu, you'll all have to pay $1 million to see me. At the same time, his parents, who had disappeared for a long time, suddenly appeared in the air. It turned out that they were engaged in scientific research for the country, and that's why they lost contact. I and my previous life. Luna Liu impersonated my identity, and wrote a letter to accuse mom and dad, accusing them of being born but not raised. Mom and dad were so heartbroken that they didn't dare to go back to small town, let alone confirm whether Luna Liu was me. The only proof that I was loved by my parents was the huge bonus that was paid to Luna Liu's stipend card every month. But at that time, I was in the countryside, poor labor farming, do not know anything. It's a good thing that this time I changed my tragic trajectory and even managed to meet my parents after a long time. Jumping into my parents' arms, I cried uncontrollably. After 2 lifetimes, our family was finally reunited. Years later, with the support of my parents, I became a real estate magnate, owning my own piece of the country. End of article.